That was pretty jolly. My name's Alex Cardoza. I'm here with Deana, and we are your Christmas lovable bunch talking a brand new film. Well, yeah, Botox. It's not a brand new film, but it is a brand new film. It came out in 2022. Is that considered brand new?
Yes. I feel like if you're in the 5-year realm, then you're new.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because if you guys are watching this, then yeah, it's 2020, whatever it is.
2024.
So yeah, it is. But today's show is a little bit different because we were able to get one of the stars of the film, Freddie Prinze Jr., to come on and talk to us about the film. And we asked some really cool questions. So we can't wait to bring that to you. And of course, today we are talking about Christmas with You. Christmas with You came out November 17th, 2022. It is a Christmas heartfelt maybe comedy. Can it be considered comedy?
I think there's some funny, because it's like family comedy. It's like, moments. Oh my God, please. When she is dancing and trying to teach them at the quinceañera and she's doing all these like sexy dance moves and he's like, no. Yeah, it's comedy.
No, he's like, we're not doing that. So it was produced by Netflix and directed by Gabriella Tagliavini. I messed that last time.
I'm happy you're saying it.
Tagliavini.
Like
Gabriella.
A T or a D?
Like a T.
T.
Tagliavini. Anyway, yeah.
Welcome to Espanol 101.
Yeah. I'll tell you a little bit about the film, and then we'll get to Deana to find out a little bit about what she thought about watching it and whatnot. And obviously, she has some really cool, comments?
Yes,
reviews.
I was up on the YouTube, and people are going bananas.
Yeah, so if you guys haven't watched it, the story centers on Angelina, a pop star who's feeling burnt out from her career and the pressures of maintaining her fame. She's a famous pop star in need of inspiration. She stumbles across a young fan's wish on social media, because who doesn't go on social media for everything, to meet her. Taking this as a sign, she decides to travel to the small town that she lives in to fulfill the fans' wish of meeting her, where not only does she meet the fans, but also her father, Miguel, played by Freddie Prinze Jr. Miguel is a music teacher. I know you love that, Deana, who also happens to have some songwriting talent. Angelina and Miguel start working on a new song together, sparking not only a creative partnership, but also a budding romance. The film carries all the feel-good elements of what a holiday film should have. This is why we incorporated it into today's show, or into this year's show, or into the season show. Bringing Angelina back to her roots and reigniting her passion for music, which she kind of like lost and loves. Deana, tell me a little bit about the film.
So I think this was one of those Christmas movies that, because we've been talking so much about like funny and comedy or horror, like, with Nightmare Before Christmas. This is a true homey Christmas movie where you sit on the couch with the fam, you grab your favorite blanket, and you just cuddle and you just watch it unfold. It's a true family, like, I don't want to say Hallmark, but it has those Hallmarky vibes to it.
It really does. You're right.
Yeah, like, it's just, if I could put it on a scale of 1 to 10 comfort mode, like it's a 10. Like, you're just sitting there, you're snuggled up. It's very family. All the family's involved in it. And I think you can kind of figure out what's happening as it unfolds. But I like the take from a different cultural aspect. I don't feel like we see enough of that in Christmas movies. And I feel you see the typical, beautiful house with the whole fam and everyone's there. It's like, no, this had comedy, this had chaos, but this had Christmas in it, all wrapped into a nice little bow.
Deana, tell us a little bit about the, you read some comments and some reviews on it. Let the audience out here know about Christmas with You. Yeah.
Dope. You're such a dope. All right. So I went on to, I wanted to see it's playing. No, it's not. I wanted to see some clips, and I'm like, I always wonder what people are saying about the movie Christmas with You. So we have some interesting ones. There is, of course, the first one is, oh my God, I love that we're all here for Freddie. Because everything in the chat is like, Freddie, Freddie, Freddie. I screamed when I saw Freddie in the trailer. So excited to watch this movie. Let's see, what else they say? My husband said his face hurt from a constant smile after watching this movie. It's everything a Christmas movie should be, and what a dynamic female roles. I loved them all. I'm only watching this because Freddie Prinze Jr. is in it. They said after podcasting for the last several years, it's great to see Freddie get back in front of the camera more often. So I kind of love that. People are like, Freddie Prinze Jr., Sarah Michelle Gellar, get back to work. We want to see you more. I absolutely love this. Loved everything about it. The music, the soap-loving grandma. We all have one, right? The chemistry between Angelina and Miguel. So it's all this like lovey-dovey.
I love it.
Yeah, like it's good vibes. And it's also like we are happy to see him back on the screen because, I mean, when's the last time we really did see him? It's been a while.
Well, that's a great question. Obviously, he was in Punky Brewster, and he's done a couple little things here and there. But we're going to get into the one-on-one that we had with Freddie Prinze Jr. right now. I hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll be back after that awesome little sit-down. All right, listeners, welcome back to That Was Pretty Jolly. We have a very, very special guest today, none other than the one, the only Freddie Prinze Jr. Now, if you guys grew up in the late 90s and early 2000s, this guy was everywhere. He's had an incredible career, starting with classics like I Know What You Did Last Summer and She's All That. Obviously, he became the 90s heartthrob. I might have liked him a little bit too, but Freddie's never been one to stay in just one lane. He's voiced some iconic characters in animation, in Star Wars, and has, written for WWE. Plus, he's had a long-lasting love affair with the horror genre. He has a awesome podcast called That Was Pretty Scary with John Lee Brody. And he also dabbles in wrestling podcasting with Wrestling with Freddie with Mr. Jeff Dye. Did I mention that he's here because he did a holiday movie? Because if you guys didn't know, that's what we're here for. Freddie, I've obviously worked with you on 1,000 other things, but this is fun to have you now be on the other side of the table with me here.
My pleasure.
I have here Deana. Welcome to That Was Pretty Jolly right here on the Gegghead channel on YouTube. Deana, I'm going to let you start off with any questions that you may have because I know I like to hog the mic, so I'm going to let you go first.
You do, and you always make the edits all about you. So whatever, it's fine.
I do. It's my.
It's all right.
I have questions. So obviously I'm excited because you are not only playing a teacher, love that because that is my job, but also a musician. Did you have to prep in any way, any musicality lessons? Did you really play the piano? Because of course I'm going to hone in on that.
I love that question. So I almost didn't make the movie because originally he was a singer. And I told them, look, I can't sing. I have no musical talent whatsoever. I know how to act. Like that's my skill set. And they were like, oh, it's no problem. And I said, no, it's a problem. Like you haven't heard my voice. And so they rewrote the script and made him a piano teacher. And a lot of our music was original music that Amy actually sang. And so I had time with the music at least a month beforehand, where I literally was just training my hands to look like they knew where they were going. But the guy who came out and actually played the song the day we shot it, he was standing on the other side, and he came up to me after my take, and he goes, were you actually playing the song that look? I was like, no, man, I just watched your hands in a video like 12,000 times, and I know exactly where your hands go. I just don't know where your fingers went. And he was like, wow, it looked super real. So a lot of people asked me if I actually played the piano in that, but it was just from, well over 1,000 views of somebody who's actually talented on that instrument and watching how they played it and then just sort of matching their movement.
I believed it. I was just like, look at this. Like, we're playing piano. Are you sure you can't sing? Like, not at all? Because don't like actors have that trifecta? Like, they act, they sing, they play music.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe I just don't have the trifecta.
Okay. All right. I mean, well, I think you did a wonderful job. I really was like, no, I'm like, he's playing. I'm like, he's legit playing. And I play piano. I'm like, oh, he's playing. So you fooled me.
That's funny. I appreciate it.
And that's why he got paid the big bucks to play some. Now, I know you've done so many different types of movies, but what drew you to the role of this one? Was there something special about the script or the character that really resonated with you?
Yeah, that was the biggest motivating part was I had never gotten to play a Latino character unless I wrote it. And if people look at my career, they may go, hold on a second, but hear me out. A lot of those other roles were written as, Mike Johnson. And then after I booked the job, they would change the last name so that the studio looks good and says, look, we hire all kinds of people. We believe in diversity. But they didn't before they hired me. So anytime there was like a Latino-led project, I would get what I call race checked. And because I'm not full Puerto Rican, I'm only part. Even my family would call me a Puerto Rican, which we would get in fights over that shit. Now it's funny. But yeah, in this business, it was weird having that feeling of not being Latin enough for something and then not being white enough for something else. It's weird when you're mixed race. And especially in this business and in life too, but in this business particularly, because you're like, wait, it worked last week, but it doesn't this. And it's just based on the person who's looking at you. So these two people came to me, Herman and Gabriela, the director and the producer, and they came at me with open arms and open hearts and open minds. And it was so, and Amy Garcia, we can get into her later if you want, because I'll love her till the day I die. But they were so inviting and trusted me so much in understanding that I do understand the culture. Like I grew up in Puerto Rico with my grandmother in Boquerón and Mayagüez, and I grew up in New Mexico with a whole bunch of Mexicanos that I was friends with because my whole street was, shout out to Kirk Martinez. He ran the street, man. He made sure I was never in a gang or anything when I was a kid because he believed in me and it didn't want me getting in trouble. But they trusted me, and that was the first time that ever happened. And so it was really humbling. And because of that trust, I worked harder than I'd ever worked before. And then I met Amy Garcia, and it just nothing felt like work anymore. It was just, there was so much love and great energy with her that all of a sudden I could finally like relax, and I had someone to lean on and depend on. But she came on the project a couple weeks after I did. So I had a lot of nerves and a lot of pressure before she kind of came on and made everything cool. I mean, the girl was like legally dead when she was a kid and came back from the damn dead. Wow. And so like her outlook on life is so unique that you're just like, oh my God, I'm taking a lot of shit for granted. Like I gotta start appreciating these little things and like yesterday. And she just has this positive energy that can't be squashed no matter what, and just made everyone on that set feel so great and amazing and empowered, and it just gave you a lot of freedom to do your job.
Well, I got a follow-up question before I let Deana jump in. Amy Garcia, how long did you guys know each other?
I had never met her, and I wasn't familiar with her career because I hadn't seen the shows that she was on. I don't watch a lot of TV. I watch live stuff, professional wrestling and sports and movies. That's more my thing. And so they were showing me tape on her, and it was like her as a nerd. And I was like, she has to play this like Shakira, like super pop star, and she's a nerd. I go, this girl must have range. And then Herman said, here's the song she's going to sing. And I was like, hold up, here's your trifecta. They said she's going to sing all the original music. She's going to dance. It's going to be full on choreographed. And I was like, wow, this girl must be good. But I had to take their word for it. But they trusted me. So it was much easier for me to trust them. And then you meet her. And Amy's like, for those of you who don't know, she's gorgeous and she's kind and she has so much range, and she can sing and she can dance and she can act and she can write and she can, what else can she, there's nothing she can't do. And so once I got to see her, we met, and I think it might have been the day she was going to debut the choreography that they had been working on with the Brooklyn Nets City Dancers, right? And and they had this great choreographer. And so I'm in this dance studio because I had to do like a little quinceañera with the girls. So we were going to work on that. And they're like, Amy's here and she's going to show the choreography. So that's how I meet her. And she comes in and she's in like full on dance clothes, nothing nerdy about her. And she gets in the front with these dancers and they turn on the music and she's just like full on bam, bam. I was just like, what the hell? Holy shit. Like, this is amazing. And I was like, how did you pull all that off? She goes, I don't know. I learned it 6 hours ago. And I was just like, what? Like, I'm going to have to take 6 months to learn a quinceañera dance. Like, what are we talking about right now? So she's just a really special performer who is underrated and undervalued, in my opinion, and will always work and hopefully gets even more work and bigger jobs as her career goes on and grows. She does basically, she works when she wants. She's successful, but I would love to see, what I envision for her. It may be different than her plans, so she may say, F you, Freddie, I'm not doing that. I'm doing what I want to do. But like, I see such big things for her, so I hope they happen.
Nice.
I like that you said a quarter Puerto Rican, because that's what I am. Everyone,
nice. Welcome
when
to the
I
club.
met Alex years and years ago, they would always, what did you guys call me? You had a name for me. It was like Blanquita or something like that. And I was like, really? Because like typical white girl. And here we are. Now I am a quarter Puerto Rican. Look at me. Go fight win.
I was really dark-skinned when I was a kid, and they also called me Prieto.
Oh, yeah, that's
The dark one. And I was just like, dude, can someone please just call me Freddie? Like, it sucks so bad, man. All my nicknames suck.
Deana, you have any other questions?
I do. So I'm a big fan of looking at reviews. So I watched the movie and then look at reviews. And I must say, everyone on YouTube was like screaming for you. They were so happy to see you back on the screen. One woman said that her husband kept like hitting her, say, stop smiling because Freddie's on the screen. And everyone was like, oh my God, he looks so great. They were just really excited to see you back. So I guess, do you have anything else that you can announce coming up movie-wise? And then the other question is, coming from all the movies you've done in the past, and now in this movie, you're a dad. Was there a huge transition, or because you are a dad, was it just easy to fall into place?
Yeah, I think Charlotte was 13 when I made that. I'll answer your first question last.
Sure.
I was 13, so I had over a decade of experience being a father and a father to a teenager as well. So that part was pretty easy, but the ability to show a different kind of vulnerability was only possible after I had children. Kids made me a more vulnerable person, which made me a better actor, which made feelings that I had much more accessible and just on the surface, as opposed to having to create something fictional, which is what I used to do. It literally changed the way I act. I'm much more proud of my performances now than I was as a young actor, but that's natural growth. Not to say I'm ashamed of them. I've gotten better as I've gotten older and more experience. So that part was easy and fun. And Deja, she's so sweet and vulnerable and kind, and you just look at her and it's like looking at Bambi from the movie. So you have sympathy for her character instantly in this film. And she can sing and she can dance and do all that stuff. And then to answer the first part of your question, I leave in just a few days to Australia to film the new I Know What You Did Last Summer with Jen Robinson, the co-writer and director of that. She did Do Revenge on Netflix. She's really, really talented. And I want to work with what I feel are the next generation of directors and have access to them before they blow up and get too big. And this was a perfect opportunity. She's a friend of our family, and she came to me with the idea, and I didn't want to do it because I just thought it was going to feel forced and fake. Like they offered me the She's All That remake, and it was, to me, it was nonsense. Like the offer was nonsense, and the way they were trying to force me into it after the fact just felt forced and fake. And so I had passed on that, and then they hired my friend, this guy Mark Waters, to get him to talk me into doing it. And we just had a cool conversation on the phone. He didn't even try it. He knew. And then so Jen came to me with this, and I was like, don't even ask. And she was like, well, just hear me out. And it was this really cool organic story where everything kind of picked up this 20 plus years later, instead of just going, here's a new movie and, oh yeah, we need them for press. Let's just squish them in, and he'll be the principal and he'll be the sheriff and she'll be the mom. And it just, that stuff to me plays fake. I don't enjoy watching it, so I would never want to do it. This was an organic part of the story as it just sort of like grew and developed over time. And they had put thought and time into who the characters were in the first two movies and how the trauma they went through would affect them as adults now. And I thought that was so cool. And it was just, and there's young people in it too. But they didn't squeeze squeeze the Ray character in there the way I felt they were trying to squeeze it in the She's All That, or He's All That, I believe they called it. And so it became suddenly from no way, I don't want to hear it, to well, let me read the script. And it was, well, the script's not done. And so it was the perfect bait to get me to be excited. And then I saw a script and was like, wow, this is a really cool horror. I love horror movies. And I've wanted to do one ever since. I know he did last summer, but either I didn't like the script or the script didn't like me. One way or the other, it just didn't work out. So I'm really excited to go back to doing what I love. And yeah, it'll come out next July 2025 is its release date. Yeah.
Oh, that's soon. That's really soon.
Yeah, in theaters everywhere. And it's a blessing to be in a movie that goes to theaters. You know, it's such a rare. It's like finding a unicorn these days. Yeah. It's a big deal to get people to get off their couch and drive in traffic and burn gas with the price of gas and going to buy a $14 tub of popcorn and a $25 ticket and a $30 Coke and so when you do have a movie that goes to theaters, a lot of people have to believe in that in order to think they're going to make money on it. So I think this is a wonderful script with a wonderful director. I think people are really going to like this movie. I think it'll be worth the trip to the theater. And yeah, I just feel blessed to be in a movie like that, because it's cool to work, period. But movies are special. I wanted us to shoot on film. I think film is special.
Yes.
It's a living, breathing organism. It's a scientific miracle. You don't know exactly what it's going to look like. You can see the grains. You can see it interacting. Mm-hmm. Like, I love film so much. And that never happens anymore. Very rarely. I shouldn't say never. But to be in a theater and project it on a screen with an audience that's committed to go and have a good time is a blessing, and I'm very grateful for that.
That's cool.
Christmas
I have one
to horror.
Yeah, I have one final question, and then I'll let Deana close it out. But by the way, when that all started happening with this film that you were about to go do, people started like sliding into my DMs. Obviously, I've been working with you for a couple of years now, so I'm like, dude, I talk wrestling with him. Like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. This is news to me. Now, filming a Christmas movie can be quite different from obviously experiencing the real holiday season. I've known you and your family, do your Christmas thing and whatnot now for the last couple of years. But how do you personally celebrate? If you could let our audience know Christmas, and did working at all on this film maybe change any of that a little bit, or you just still honing the same holiday, stuff that you do for Christmas?
We're rarely in town for Christmas. Rarely. We usually go someplace warm. Mm-hmm. And try to spend the entire winter break that our kids have someplace, warm and special, because we're in our house all year. So if we can be blessed enough to go someplace warm in the winter, we want to accept that blessing and take it to the fullest. So that's what we do. We find an island, we go there, we stay warm, we get in the ocean, we spend time as a family. We'll bring a couple gifts with us there, so they have a couple things on Christmas, but they usually get to open all their gifts a few days early.
Nice.
And then as far as like the movie affecting it, not so much, man. I mean, there definitely was a certain desire to say, hey, maybe I'll make a New Mexican Christmas dinner and do like sopapillas and tamales and all that stuff. I remember they wanted me to take tamale making lessons for the movie. I was like, are you joking? I grew up in New Mexico. Like, and they sent me this video, and I sent them notes why everything was wrong with the video. I was like, yo, this is not how you make tamales. I'll show you how to make tamales properly when we get on set. And so we got on set, and I taught everyone how to make them, and it took Amy 5 seconds to learn how. She was making them poorly in the movie on purpose because her character was like uncomfortable with getting dirty in any way, but Amy's not. Like, in 2 seconds, she was like, oh, that's easy. I was like, yeah, this video is ridiculous. It's 20 minutes long. It takes 5 seconds to learn. So maybe a little inspiration to do that, but we're never in town.
Sure.
So maybe it'll have to be one of those trips where we don't vacation that year, and we're actually going to have a Christmas dinner.
Sounds good. Deana, I'll let you close it out for us.
So I think it's really important too to note that this is not, and when I say not your typical Christmas movie, it's different because you don't have both parents in the picture. And I really, having divorced parents growing up, I thought it was extra special. It was cozy, it was comfy. And it just reminded you that you didn't have to have both parents in the picture to have a Christmas holiday, to have the norm. There were multiple aunts in the video. There were other family members. It just kind of took that whole mask of, oh, you have to have a mom and a dad and a daughter and a son and a dog. Like, no, you can still have a wonderful Christmas, celebrate family from and which we say dysfunctional family, which I grew up in, but it still made it beautiful and very like comforting. And I thought it was a great movie because of that. And it touched me in that way because, again, I didn't grow up in that functional family. We had divorced parents. So I love that movie embodied that and just embraced that.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in a single parent household, so it was already normal to me. So I didn't even approach it from any sort of point of view from that, because that's all I ever knew. You know, my only other experience with like a traditional family with, you know, 2 dogs and a cat and both parents and a brother or sister were friends that had that, and it was cool to get to spend time with them and see that dynamic. But for me, it was all I ever knew, so there wasn't too much of a sadness and longing. But I'm glad that the movie and the script itself focused on that and was able to connect with people who didn't come. I don't even like that term functional family. Like, I know plenty of single parent families that were full functioning. So yeah, I'm glad that it was able to touch people. I've never even looked at it that way. So that I always looked at it, you know, based on my experiences and my perspective, and based on how I grew up. So it was already normal to me. But yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it for sure. For sure.
That's why Alex has me here.
Boom. That's why I pay her the big bucks, Freddie. Freddie, thank you so much for coming on the show. That was pretty jolly. This is our first season doing this. I thought it was really fun to kind of incorporate the film that you were in and have you jump on here. So I appreciate you. I'll send you the big $10,000 check in the mail soon.
Sweet.
For coming on here. And for everyone listening, you know where to find him. The man's not hard to find, and go check out his movie. Thanks, Freddie. Talk soon.
My pleasure. Thank you, guys.
And we're back. Yeah.
It's the Christmas crew.
Everyone admire Deana's sweatshirt. Please give all your 5 stars when you're listening to this to Deana. Give all your thumbs up when you're watching it right here on Gegghead to Deana. I'm just here to drive the train, ship, whatever you want to call it.
Train.
What a great one-on-one with Freddie. Isn't he just the most lovely person ever?
I mean, okay, so let's talk from my perspective, right? I mean,
yeah.
You called him a heartthrob. So obviously I feel like I said that. He is the heartthrob from the 90s, still is. Gorgeous man, wonderful actor. Love the family vibes he gives off. You know, the things he said about how after becoming a dad, it made him a better actor because he admitted, like, you're more well-rounded, you're more developed, you're tapping into things that you can't tap into. And you could see that when there are actors or actresses that play like a parent role and do not have kids, it is very obvious. Yeah. And I love that about him. And I mean, it's Freddie Prinze Jr. Hello.
Yeah.
It's Freddie Prinze Jr.
I loved everything about what he was talking about, from the family elements to the great way that he became friends with Amy Garcia. She's awesome, by the way. I mean, she's something else. And she's a great actress. As Freddie mentioned, she, you know, worked very hard behind the scenes to put a lot of the dancing together and the choreography. So, I mean, the film, guys, it's one of those that it's the Christmas season, which it is right now. I don't care what anyone says.
You were saying it's Christmas in August.
I did, yes. You can have it on in the background if you're baking cookies or you're baking food for whatever the case may be. You know, you're with your kids hanging out. It's appropriate. You can put it on. Yeah, you don't have to worry about anything too crazy on television that could scare the kids off, or you might not want them to listen to or see. But it was that. It was a feel-good movie. He does give us some great info on what he's working on next. So TMZ and anyone who decides to clip this show, make sure you give...
You better put like logos all over our faces.
Give me the credit. My name's Alex Cardoza, his producer on many, 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 many shows.
Oh, but like I don't get credit because I asked the question.
You get credit because you're here.
I think
so
TMZ
yes.
should hire me now. I'm getting all the questions.
Yeah,
I'm getting
you get
all the
credit.
answers.
You get credit because you're here. But yeah, you guys could listen to him too. Any wrestling fans who might be listening to this, he does Wrestling with Freddie. I produce him on that. He does That Was Pretty Scary with John Lee Brody. I produced that as well. So
I like that one.
And we're working on a lot of other things behind the scenes. So by the time, I mean, if you could hear this a year from now, and you might see other things that just came out. Now, to close out today's show, he mentioned that he really didn't play the piano, but it looks so convincing with the way he did it. He also mentioned to us about singing, and
I wanted him to sing so bad. Like,
oh my goodness.
Because he said he couldn't sing at all. And I was kind of like probing, like pushing, like, well, let me hear you sing. Like, let me be the judge of that. But maybe he really is talented and he didn't want to share.
And he has mentioned in other interviews that filming this project brought back a lot of nostalgia for him from his early days in romantic comedies, which is pretty cool. So this was a really lighthearted film. Let's talk about cultural representation. Freddie loves his culture. Freddie loves being from Puerto Rico.
I did not know any of that about him. Where he grew up, none of that.
Yes. He grew up in my neck of the woods. I grew up in Boquerón, Puerto Rico. So at some point we must have crossed paths. At some point, his grandmother, who's very well known.
You guys think you were like skipping rocks outside?
100%. We're cousins.
We were doing like hopscotch together.
I guarantee you we were. We probably crossed paths on the beach. His grandmother was very well known on the island. My grandfather was very well known on the island because he was a musician. So there could have been a parallel where my grandfather probably playing with his band by the beach, because Boquerón is the beach. That's the bottom left part, western part of Puerto Rico. So I grew up right on the beach. He grew up right on the beach. So it was just pretty cool when he first told me that. And, his grandmother, like I mentioned before, she used to take him to watch wrestling matches down there and taught him about wrestling and all that good stuff. So it's really cool because I learned about wrestling from my grandfather. And I would watch in his little 13-inch black and white TV. So a lot of cultural diversity in the cast and everything. So I love that for him. It brought a blend of holiday traditions from different, like I mentioned before, different cultural backgrounds. Deana, how many delicious candy canes do you give Christmas with you?
So this one is really different because, like I said, we haven't done I'm going to call this a cozy cup of cocoa movie.
You mentioned it. It's like a lot like the Hallmark movies. It had so many of those good vibes.
We haven't done any of that. And because it hits so many marks with different cultural diversity, there is that recognition of single parenting at its best, because I feel like we always highlight the negatives.
Yeah.
I'm giving this 5 candy canes. This is like a beautiful, like I said, it's a cozy cup of cocoa. It's one of those you gotta sit down, relax, grab your favorite blankie, just enjoy and appreciate what it's showing you. It's not just Christmas, it's family and it's cultural. And I love that.
I love that. I so love that you give, and not just because you just met him. You met your
No, not being biased. He didn't
She's
like
completely unbiased. She is not.
Alex made fun of me because when we first logged on.
She doesn't have her Tiger Beat poster in the background.
No, I did have that magazine. I remember him being on it. Like,
yeah,
come on. I grew up in the times.
I love him. He's become a mentor to me. He's become so much more than just someone who, when I first started years back working with him, I'm
jealous of the relationship you have with him, because I've always wanted to have a relationship with someone in the business who could explain it to you. Years ago, my dad introduced me to Sandra Seacat.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know? Okay, Sandra Seacat is huge, and she did pass away, but she was a acting coach, and she acted as well to some of the tops. And I sat down with her on many occasions because that was the field I wanted. And I miss that. I miss talking to people who could talk to you about behind the scenes and just everything in movie magic. So I'm so jealous of that relationship you have.
Yeah, I don't take it for granted. I'm very fortunate. I kind of text you this all the time. Who the F am I? And why do I have this awesome relationship with them? But here we are. And I appreciate it. I give this, because I am so biased, I give this 5 candy canes. I love you, Freddie.
I was waiting for you to be like, I give this 6.
Yeah, no. I mean, we broke it once before. I broke it for you. So the candy cane scale. But for this one, five candy canes. It brought all of the holiday vibes. It brought my Latin community into it, which is I'm a huge supporter of bringing that into the world. Deana, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Instagram. That's where I am most of the days and the times and all that fun stuff. It's thequeenbuzz.com, thequeenbuzz.com.
D-O-T.
Yeah, because you got to spell it
Department of
out.
Transportation. Got it.
It's not a period. You can't put a period. Actually, I don't know if you can.
The Department of Transportation.
What?
D-O-T.
No, don't confuse people. They're going to start looking up all these weird things.
You can find me on Instagram, Alexis Cardoza.
Toilet.
And yeah, pretty much. Where you can follow me also on Threads, where I'm at. I post a lot of awesome things there. And those are my main two places that you'll be able to find me. Also, don't forget to follow the Gegghead channel right here on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to us on any podcast platform. So if you cannot watch us, you can at least take us with you anywhere you go by listening to us on whatever podcast platform you may have. And I mean, it's the holiday season.
You have to watch. There's no excuses.
No,
I know you want to listen, but you have to watch.
Yeah, you got to watch. I mean, it's fun. We're getting a lot of people watching, which is great. And I'm getting a lot of great compliments from you guys out there. And I really appreciate it. Make sure you also send us comments, leave us reviews, all the good stuff that happens when you listen to other big podcasters out there like Deana and I. Anyway.
And my awesome Christmas crew sweater. I'm going to wear this like from now on. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
You should wear it all the time. Why not?
Jack, the Grinch, Bruce Willis, and the man himself, the ho-ho-ho man. See, this fits now. The ho-ho-ho man. Look at him. He's like, ho, 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 I'm Santa Claus.
Wow. Wow, this is bad. All right, friends, we'll see you next week right here. And that was pretty
Jolly.